Figured it out. All right, Jersey boys in the house. Let's get this bad boy luck going. We should be seeing streaming live. All right, Mr. Jones. All right, let's get it on. That's, I look forward to this. There's anything that gives me popped up energy right away. All right. Live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk, hosted by Byron Jones and Victor Arocho, brought to you by The Sportscast. Today is April 7th, 2022. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to The Sportscast in all our channels, YouTube, Twitter, Spotify, and iTunes. If you are on iTunes, please subscribe to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk on your podcast. It's the purple little icon. Click on there, look for see our picture in the background. Log on, you can hear some of the stuff that we go back and forth with, and you also hear when I happen to not be on the show. Mr. Jones then agrees with me, and when I'm on the show, he loves to go against me. So you hear some funny talk over here. And we are ready, and we're streaming live right now on YouTube and on Facebook every Thursday at 8 p.m. So we are getting ready to get into the mock draft, some of the things that are happening. Tiger Woods has been doing pretty well in the Masters. He is -1. The leader's -4. But that's not, that's a tight kind of race. So let's see going on. I don't know if you like golf or not, Byron, but I hear you having lots of rain and stuff over there in Philly, man. We always talk about the weather.
A lot of rain, buckets and buckets of rain. Streets are flooding, backyard is flooded. So yeah, it's a mess.
Yeah. Well, here we have flooding and stuff, but weird. It'll be like, those cartoons when we grew up. Like, I never understood like the cartoons where it would be pouring and then they would drive through it and all of a sudden it would be sunshine.
I used to have to Oklahoma. I used to see that Oklahoma all the time. When I was out there, it'd be raining and you're riding down the highway. Like, yeah, there was some rain, and it'd be raining right in the middle of the highway, and then you go on the other side. And I was like, wow, that's weird.
I'm trying to see. Hold on a second. If I go, which way do I go to get this over here? All right. So the reason I'm doing that, I was watching a how to do some video selling and so forth. It was like be in the corner instead of just in the middle. It was like an anchor or something. So I'm trying some new techniques. Well, over here, it was like, it was beautiful sunshine. And I'm on the phone with a client. All of a sudden, boom, it starts raining buckets and everything.
That's where it started a little harder now.
Out of nowhere, right? And then bang, it became sunshine, and now it's okay right now. So let's get it going. All right. So I know you put it in New York. You have the Giants mock draft. You have a mock draft globally. I have it up.
I got everything.
You have everything. So it's not just for the Giants, right? So I do have some news that I am seeing. Here's some draft news that I got from the Giants side. Some of the rumors, unconfirmed rumors, but just give you some stuff. I don't know if some April Fool stuff, but they're Washington State quarterback Jared Guarantino, a Lodi native, Lodi, New Jersey, started at Bergen Catholic. Bergen Catholic is good football over there. He was at Tennessee. He was a grad transfer to Wazoo or Washington, I guess. Also the Rutgers tight end. Any news or anything you think about that?
That's the first I heard of that.
Yeah, well, it may have been an April Fool's joke, but I just want to bring it
up.
What's
the kid's name? The first one?
The first one was Washington State's quarterback Jared Guarantano. He's from Florida.
He played at Tennessee too?
Italian guy from Florida, huh?
But he played in Tennessee, right?
Yeah. He
lost his job, man. He sucks, man. Nah.
I don't say that.
I'm going straight to, man. He was awful. That kid was awful, man.
Okay, say that. All right.
Is that better?
Kid got some love. He's from Jersey. He was going to Jersey, boy.
Yeah. Nah, but
I hear you. Don't be so hard on the young guy.
He transferred.
He didn't want to compete. Leave him alone. All right. Give Lodi, New Jersey some love.
Lodi,
Texas A&M O-line Kenyon Green. Any thoughts on that?
That would be a good pick. They'll probably, he might go like a second round.
The center this past season is with the Cowboys today. So, they're giving some of that. Let's see, anything else? Giants have a top 30 visit schedule with Georgia safety Lewis Sign. per source. Safety and obvious need, only 2 current on the roster. Sign could be an option at the 36th pick. Any thoughts on that?
That's one of them Georgia kids. For some reason, the Giants just love dipping in the pool for Georgia kids.
Well, I got another one, Travon Walker, a D lineman from Georgia.
Yeah, he's shooting up my draft board. I think I got like number 3.
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up a little bit of that. We'll go into there, and then I'll get into some of the news. And so let's bring up your piece now, and let's go share screen. All righty.
We got the Giant stuff on the other side in the corner. As far as
on the right side, left side, I don't know what the other side is.
Under J.
Mm-hmm.
Keep going. There you go, right there. The New York Giants workout schedule. They started their voluntary off-season program was started August 4th the other day.
Okay.
Everybody showed up except for you. Guess who didn't show up?
Daniel Jones.
He was there. He leading the charge. Guess who else didn't show up?
Saquon Barkley.
He was there. Better than that. Your guy.
Darius Toney.
Kadarius Toney was a no-show.
Oh my God, he's killing me. What's wrong with these kids, man?
Because he'd rather be a rapper, and he don't want to be in New York. Yeah, I'm throwing it all out. He doesn't want to be in New York. I'm sure he probably want to rap down there in Miami or wherever he's from.
New York is, if you're gonna rap, but you want to rap in New York. You got Diddy. Is the city will B.I.G. Biggie came from. The city the city that loves Biggie.
Well, guess what? He don't want no love. He wants to stay down there in Florida, instead of coming up here and get with the program, see what how they're gonna use him. He's home chilling, even though it's voluntary.
But everybody's there except for him.
Yeah, him and probably a couple other guys. But he's the biggest name that wasn't there. So they have the voluntary one is April 4th.
Is that something new, or they just do that anyway?
That's not kind of sort of new, because the 4th is like the coaches that have just got hired this year, like the new head coaches, they can have theirs now at this time. So starting April 4th. So whatever other team hired a new coach, they can start, April 4th, for a day.
Okay. So for our listeners, right, if you're not a new coach, when can you start?
April
19th.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's 3 days.
So how many days is April 4th?
That's 1 day.
Oh, it's only a 1 day workout.
It's a couple days.
It starts getting the team together. I mean, let me tell you something, Byron. If I could tell you I've had a lot of great times in my life. I also had some tough ones, just like everybody else. But I don't know about you. And I know it was hard, especially at the level you played. But I played hard. I practiced and worked out and played hard. And some of the greatest time I couldn't wait for was double sessions, going to start the season. I look forward to it every year. It's like you left college early. Nobody's on the campus except for some people, and it's just you and your boys. You're all together. You're roomed up. You're eating food. I mean, all you're doing is sleeping, eating, football. And back then, the only thing to watch in between was it was so funny. You had a whole locker room of these tough football guys all talking about the soap operas they liked.
We did the same thing.
It's the only thing on TV back then.
All my children, same thing.
Oh, yeah, we were the same. We were all my children. Some of the guys were as the world, something like the world terms. We would fight against each other.
Because all my children came on, because we had to be in our defensive meeting at 2:15. All my children was on. All my children was on from 1 to 2 p.m. And then we were staying there, Jenny Piccolo and Greg and all those guys. We watched all that mess too.
Oh my God, that's so funny that you
from
did
1 to 2.
We're only 3 years apart, so yeah. And back then you had to get up to change the channel.
Yep.
Right? You had to literally change the channel. There was no.
Well, we had a guy, the freshman. Man,
we only have 4 channels, right?
Huh?
We only have 4 channels back then.
Yeah, 2, 4, 7, and 9, 5, and 11.
Right.
Yeah, that was it.
No five. There was no five.
No five. It was 2,
2,
4,
4,
7,
7, 9, and 11.
and
Yeah.
13 was the like
PBS.
PBS.
Yeah, and even 9 was sketchy, right? But it was like 7, 2, 4, which was like ABC, NBC, CBS, NBC, and ABC.
Yep.
There was no Fox, and then there was maybe 11 WPL, something like that.
WPIX.
Yeah, something like that. But really, it was just the main 3 channels, right?
Yep.
So we would argue, that's funny, that we'd watch soap operas. And the funniest part that I knew is when, playing our ball was, I was always amazed. And I was glad, my career was pretty good there. It was, but man, no matter how I worked out, I didn't understand how I was still sore. I don't care how much I prepared, I was sore during double sessions.
It was a little rough. Yeah, it was a little rough.
I mean, there's nothing you can do. And the guys who weren't sore, I just knew they were either dogging it and they were prepared or whatever. But anyhow, I'm just saying, but that was like my favorite, I guess. If there was just a moment in time where, you have no responsibilities, no bills, right?
No, nothing. Eat, sleep, go to class.
Eat, sleep. No, there's no class in those
sessions. I'm just saying, when the season started, go to class.
I understand it, but double sessions, if you think about it, right? You eat, sleep football with 100-something guys and that camaraderie, just working out and fighting. I mean, because there's fights.
Or you're going to be plenty of fights. There's
a lot of these fights. Everyone's pissed because you're going harder than they don't want you to go as hard, right? And then if you're going hard, the coaches get mad because they're not going hard. And I didn't care, I was like, look, I came here to play, right? I didn't come here to mess around. And
Thursday was ladies' night. So we had to sneak out to go to ladies' night in cahoots.
Yeah, well, we didn't have much of that where I was up in East Orange. So, but there was ladies on Keno. But I was in Jersey. Remember, I was only 45 minutes away from home. But there was ladies weren't my difficulty.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Different now. That wasn't an issue. So, but anyways, let's go. Let's not get off sidetrack. But anyhow, that was some of my greatest times. So I can imagine. So then the 19th to the 21st is 2 day. They call that a 2 day mini camp.
That's 3 days.
How many sessions do they do during that time?
They go, like meetings, they go through, different positions.
No, but it's like, how double sessions. Really, we had triple sessions, right? Yeah, we had film. We also had to watch film, so we considered it triple sessions.
Pretty much is the same thing, where they, walk through stuff. And I know when I was in Minnesota, that was full go live. You're in shorts, shorts, t-shirt, helmet sometimes, but it's full go. It ain't no joke. It's not like, thud, you had thud in high school, college and stuff. Man, these guys are going 400 miles an hour, because you have the veterans that have been there and they pretty much know, what's going on. And, you try to, look, at them and see, all right, well, I can do it like this way or whatever. But yeah, same thing, the offense, they might go through that, like 7-on-7, that kind of stuff. But, that's it for the most part.
All right. So then you got the OTA off-season workouts the 16th.
Pretty much the same thing you're gonna go through.
And then mandatory minicamp. That's when everybody's got to come.
That's when everybody, the draft picks, everybody.
So that's when I'm going over to Tampa to go see Brady practice.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
yeah, I'm gonna go see him this year. I can't take a chance. I almost had a heart attack. I'm glad he came back because I was like, man, I would have went over there. But this year now, with everything relaxing, I'm definitely going to get a couple games in. All righty. So, all right, where you want me to go from here? You want me to go back to the left?
Yeah, we go back to the left, then we come back to the right.
Well, we're going to talk about here. Let's go. Is this the same from the other day, though? No.
Oh, no. Go all the way up. I got stuff underneath the other thing. Keep going up.
That's it.
The other way, like down. I mean.
Okay. Yeah, down. That's down.
There you go. Our stuff from last week.
Okay.
Remember we had who was the best, whatever.
So, the NFC East defensive lines. You got Washington up there. I'm going to put Washington up there.
Why wouldn't you put them in? They got 3 number 1 picks. You keep forgetting about that, don't you?
What do you mean from coming up?
They have 3 very good defensive lines.
I guess the only reason they performed so poorly last year.
Yeah, well, Chase Young was hurt.
They just performed bad when he was playing.
They are the top dog. And
I would have agreed last year. I'm just saying to you, because of the performance last year, I don't think.
Well, Chase Young will be back, and they're number one right now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And we got Giants last. All right. So you got coaching, NFC East coach. You got Ron Rivera.
Yep.
And who's the coach of Philly?
Nick Sirianni.
Really? And so let me ask you a question. Why are the Giants last as the coach?
Because they have a new coach.
Okay.
You don't know what this guy's.
You like the coach, right?
I like him.
I wanted a defensive coach.
Well, he's an offensive. He's an
power arguing against me.
And you don't know what he's going to do, so he has to be last until he proves himself. And then Mike McCarthy, number 3, we know what he did last year.
He's number 4.
He's flamed out.
He's still number 4 in my book.
Yeah. Well, number 3. Can't put him under a rookie coach. Then you have the linebackers. Dallas Cowboys are top dogs with them because you know who they have back there, which is Mr. Micah Parsons.
Micah. And the Giants are last in linebackers. Giants are last in secondary. And it's so bad. Bro, this is just bad. Okay, yeah, we still pick them to win the NFC East. All right, so and it's 2023 NFL prop. 2023.
Yes, the reason why I put that up there because they're talking about the Giants trading either the 5th or 7th pick, one of them, to see if they can get move down in the draft and then pick up an extra first rounder next year.
Right.
So just in case if my star quarterback fails and doesn't succeed, you always got to have a backup plan. And
okay, so wait a second. Let's just look at this then. So this would be not this draft coming up. This would be next year.
Next year. These are all the quarterbacks.
Oh, Bryce Young is coming back to Alabama again?
Yeah, he's only a sophomore. Yeah,
he won national championship. Who's the national champion last year?
Georgia. Come on, man. You forgot already?
That's right. My boys Georgia. Bryce Young isn't Bryce Young tiny?
He's tiny. Yeah. And then the other kid, CJ Stroud, remember, he comes from Ohio State. What usually happens with an Ohio State quarterback?
They transfer.
They don't transfer. They're not very good when they get to the pros. Name one that has been successful. I'm still waiting.
Quarterback, Joe Burrows.
Yeah, but he transferred from there with the LSU.
Exactly.
And then I'm waiting for Dwayne Haskins to break out with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But
yeah, that was a shame. I think Washington ruined them, though.
They did. But besides that, name one quarterback from Ohio State, and he's the third-ranked, player coming out next year.
Yeah, I can't
overall.
Well, think about it. But if you think about look who the coach was there when they won the championships, and look at the coach who was at Florida when they won the championships, and none of that. And that coach never name a quarterback he has that's done well in the pros. Yet he's won national championships.
Because it's a system. It's a system offense. They plug it in, and they have those elite wide receivers, which they do.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I know the guy. I'm not going to mention his name. That got fired with the Jacksonville.
From Jacksonville, right?
Yeah,
all right, Spencer Rattler. South Carolina usually has some good quarterbacks.
Whoa! You got to remember, he was the number one this year. If he came, supposedly he was supposed to be the number 1 ranked quarterback this year. Well, he lost his job to the kid at OU, and he transferred from OU to South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's
but that's not bad though, because he'll have bigger guys, and South Carolina's not a bad team. He's still in a tough FCC, but he's gonna have speed. So
Yeah, but he left OU. Look at all the speed that he had at OU. He got beat out by freshmen.
Yeah, but Oklahoma, I mean, what kind of offense they run compared to an SEC offense?
They run a wide open offense. What's his name? What's the guy's name that left?
Who's Oklahoma? Isn't it Baker?
Well, he left. He went to Oklahoma. He left and went to USC.
Who?
The head coach from OU. I can't think of his name. Lincoln Riley. Yes, he left. And then
Boston quarterback's pretty good. Tennessee quarterbacks are pretty good. BYU quarterbacks are pretty good. Kentucky quarterbacks, Virginia quarterbacks.
These are all the quarterbacks for next year that are on the watch list. And you can add Anthony Richardson from the University of Florida is another one to keep an eye out on.
Interesting.
But
Okay,
wait, let me finish. One more thing. The last thing, and you see who I have the #1 player on there, right?
Will Anderson.
Yes, everybody is all getting all hyped up, as far as, they're going to be better quarterbacks next year, better quarterbacks, better than this year, better than this year. That guy right there, Will Anderson.
This year there isn't any quarterbacks.
Well, they got Malik, Willis, and the other kid, Kenny Pickett. But next year,
the last 3 years.
The next year, this kid here, Will Anderson Jr., is going to be the first player picked. I don't care whatever quarterbacks do next year. He is a dominant player, and they're saying that he's just as good. He's up there with Derek Thomas that played at Alabama with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's that good.
Wow.
So he's going to be the first player picked next year. So
Derek Thomas. Did Derek Thomas play for Buffalo or Kansas City?
Oh, he played for the Kansas City Chiefs.
All right. Well, yeah, I wanted to just shout out. I know there's a memorial for a good friend of mine, Pelham McDaniels III. He's the gentleman played for Kansas City for 7 years and Atlanta for 9. Remember, he passed away a couple of years. That's when we did our first show.
Yep.
And then with COVID and everything, he left behind a loving wife and a son and a daughter, Ellington and Sophia, and his wife Navab. So prayers out to the McDaniels family. Pelham, you're a great man. So God bless you and the family. And a shout out to Kansas City, because I know that's where his heart was dear. And he was a big Derek Thomas fan. I mean, a few Kansas City guys died young. Yeah. All right. So where am I headed now?
All the way back up to the draft.
All right. So we got the draft, folks. So if you're not watching on YouTube or Facebook, you should come in because you want to do your fantasy picks. You may want to do some stuff happening here. Byron puts in a lot of work here. So we got the Jaguars getting an offensive tackle, which they definitely need. You got Lions at 2, an edge rusher, Texans, a deep tackle. This is Georgia.
Last week I had Trayvon Walker going to the Giants, but he's moving up to. I wouldn't be surprised if he was the first player picked.
Really?
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Isn't that Kavon guy the one that Joe Capral was mentioning? I have some notes.
Yeah, Kayvon Thibodeaux.
Yeah, he was has him as getting the Heisman or something like that.
Nah, not the Heisman.
He had something. What did he say?
Well, put it this way, he said that they might not slip past the Jets.
Yeah, Thibodeaux next. Oh, he said he's going to be the next
LT.
That's what it is.
He might get
next LT. Capral, if you're listening, don't forget we remember what you said. I got it written down. The next LT. So we're going to see you there. Okay, Jets, and you get the LT. All right, number 5, offensive tackle. That'll be that'll be left tackle. That'll be for the
right tackle.
Right side, right?
Right tackle.
Oh, we need it. Let's hope they go big, bro. Don't let us down. Panthers with quarterback Malik Willis. Interesting. Giant. Oh, we got the 5th and the 7th. Is that the one you think we're going to trade?
They're going to trade either one to get a first next year. I don't know which one.
Trade the 7th. Give me a tag. I want a lineman first pick.
Yeah, but even if they trade the 5th pick, they probably could still get a lineman at 7. It just probably won't be the one they really, really want. But
let's see. The Jaguars are not going to take a quarterback. The Lions aren't going to take a quarterback. Who does the Texans have?
Mills is a quarterback.
That's a possibility. The Jets are not going to take a quarterback.
The Giants are.
Maybe Giants.
I can't hear you. What are you saying?
Okay, and the Panthers, I don't believe the Panthers. I guess they're the only ones going to take a quarterback, right?
Yeah, because they still got Sam Darnold. So,
oh, they got Sam Darnold. I'm not sure if they're going to take a quarterback, but okay. Falcons. All right, you got the at the 8th pick. Falcons.
You're not going to say anything about your quarterback. That's Ahmad Sauce Gardner.
Ahmad Gardner, quarterback. We need help, and he's from Cincinnati. Cincinnati had a pretty good team until they got spanked in the playoffs. They got spanked.
It was a fraud.
They got spanked. It's embarrassing when you're at that school. You're talking all that smack about wanting to be somewhere, and you get your shot, and you get spanked.
The game was fixed. It was fixed.
How?
They got food poisoning or something before the game.
Oh my God, is that an excuse you're making?
Yeah, I'm throwing stuff out there.
You gotta throw something out because they got both teams got spanked.
Yeah,
like the two teams that there was 4 teams in it, right? It was a 4-team.
Yeah.
That was embarrassing. That's why they got either expanded or they got something. I just think the way they pick it is bad. Other than like when it's an SEC team, it's bad. But think about Notre Dame almost getting in it. They didn't know. Was Notre Dame in it or no?
Yes, they were.
And they got spanked.
I know.
Terrible.
But anyway, moving along.
All right, so let's go. We got the Falcons, wide receiver, Seahawks. Oh, they got to pick up a quarterback. All right. And Jets getting a safety, Washington receiver. Who's the quarterback went to the Washington? I forgot. What's his name? The guy that we don't like him. Carson Wentz. Stingley. Any relation? Wasn't there a Stingley in the league before?
His grandfather, Derek Stingley, the one that got paralyzed by Jack Tatum.
I knew I recognized the name.
Yeah.
You got Texans. I'm just trying to see if anything of relevance here. Anybody stand out that you want to talk
about?
Got
a quarterback going to Pittsburgh, Matt Corral from Mississippi.
All right, Mississippi produces some good quarterbacks.
You got all these Georgia boys, going very high, a whole bunch of them.
Oh, they won the national championship. What do you expect?
That doesn't mean they got the best players.
They have the best players in college football. All right. So what else you got here? All right, let's keep going.
Then I put them according the other way on the K right there. Same thing, but now it's just in this order. As far as who's picking who in our conference or division.
Right.
The Cowboys figured offensive lineman. The Eagles. Remember, the Eagles traded one of their picks. Well, their higher pick to the Saints on the other side. So the Saints are going to have 2 picks in the first round, and the Eagles are going to still have 2 picks in the first round. So it's going to be interesting.
And the Giants have 2 picks in the first round.
Yes, unless they trade down a little bit, or maybe the Saints might try to trade up and get a quarterback since they did sign famous Jameis for a year or 2.
Famous Jameis. Okay, all right, this is good. All right, folks. Well, if you want to see this, we should probably send this to Santiago so they can post it if they want to download some of this stuff.
He's already got it.
Oh, he's got it? Okay, good. So make it downloadable for
did you see this over here? Keep going. What? Go on the K again. Keep going.
Pete Carroll called out NFL owners. Okay, what happened? Because I got something on that coming up too.
Here we go. I'm gonna read exactly what they said.
I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna get on here. So go ahead.
He just went off. A source said, describing Carroll's comments in the meeting. He was saying you can't do anything until owners get to know these candidates before the actual interviews and understand that they are to hire people who are different than them, and it's not really going to change. Remember we were talking about. We just said before.
Say that again. Read it again, because I'm not understanding. This is from Pete Carroll discussing about hiring a minority coach.
But just the owners, as far as getting on board,
hiring minority.
And he said you can do anything, but until owners get to know these candidates before the actual interviews and understand that they have to hire people who are different than them, it's not really going to change anything.
Interesting. I just, all right. So let's talk about that a little bit, okay? So what do you think? What do you think, Pete Carroll? Why do you think he made that statement? 1 and 2. What is it? How do you interpret that hiring someone that's different than them? So first, why do you think he made that comment?
Because it's true. Because you have these billionaire owners that have never, grown up and, without, maybe some of them have, or, self-made billionaires or whatever. And even then, they're not in the same neighborhood or the same atmosphere. A lot of these, African-American coaches, they're not. A lot of these owners haven't played the sport, so they really don't know. So how are you going to have a guy that's a billionaire, billionaire owner, He's going to bring in some, African American coach, or assistant coach from somewhere, and really not, talk to the guy or understand, his just the way he does things. It's just different.
I guess. I mean, I'm not saying I disagree, because I think there is. I mean, I've seen it, right, firsthand, just in business and being around people of when I had raised money for a company, being around different people of financial means and stuff. But I guess what I'm saying is, like, when no matter what color, gender, whatever, when you're talking football, right? Oh, sorry about that. When you're talking football, you're talking football. So football is football, right? So it's got to be something else other than me. Look, in other words, me interviewing you, there's no confusion. I know you're black, right? I mean, okay, but if let's make believe I couldn't see you, like we're not on Zoom, and we're talking football. It's just talking football, not understand, like, because you said, like, understand the way they think and so forth. The way who thinks it's football is either sound football or not. Then again, these guys didn't play, so how are they going to know? Like, how are they're smart. They're smart business people. They're not going to be smart football savvy people.
Yeah, but they're not bringing these guys in for the interviews the way they should. Most of them, we're talking about that too. That they're sham and interviews, like with the one with Brian Flores. Now they got Steve Wilkes, another guy that's added to the list.
No, I'm coming to that next. I'm going to that.
They're all, but I'm just saying they're all on that list. They're not bringing these guys in for the interviews the way they should. And why? But then you have all these teams are multi-million-dollar businesses for these guys. Right. And a lot of them probably don't want an African American to be the face of that organization. That's possible too.
That I can understand. That's a shame. That's sad. I mean, and I never understand. And I never can understand. I can't wait till it's a point. Would you agree, though? There's got to be a point where I would look that pick the best person, right, and make sure it's fair, right?
It's never going to happen, because we can go back.
Eventually, it's going to happen, man. Because I think it's going to start. I think that it's going to start, and it's going to start with the Bucks, right? There's no reason.
The Bucks have already, they've been ahead of the curve,
right? But I'm saying to you, but that I think the tree. I think that your Arians like them or don't liking them, but now you got Bulls. They got enough, and they're going to continue with success, that there is no reason that tree doesn't start developing more successful head coaches. Is that a fair statement? I mean, he's got 12 minority coaches. Maybe the whole team will have 13. Hopefully, he hires another minority coach. Right, because he was one of 12, right? Bulls was one of 12.
Yeah, but I'm saying I'd look at this for all different angles. You got the Belichick tree, you got the Shanahan, terrible. You got the Parcells tree, you got the best. You got Walsh, you got Marty Schottenheimer. You have all these different guys that are off their tree. Like even right here, even John Gruden. John Gruden off of his tree. You got Sean McVay, was who? The head coach of the Rams. You got Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. You got Kyle Shanahan, was on that staff. Belichick, you have
but that's the other thing. You got a little bit of challenge though with successful head coaches having their kids come into the leagues. I mean, look at the Ryans, the Shanahans, the Grudens, the Moras. I mean, you understand? All those guys got head coaching jobs faster than some of the guys who've been in the league longer.
Yeah, because I'm gonna put it out, because it's the good old boy league. You gotta, whoever you gotta know somebody to get in that fraternity. You only have 32. You have 32 head coaching jobs at NFL in the whole world. Yeah. You have 32.
Yeah, but look, but let's not take it away from some of those guys either, though, because growing up with a head coach as a father, you do get the opportunity to produce a pretty good coach if that's what he's into. I mean, you can't say that it shouldn't be a negative against them, but it's definitely a positive. But it shouldn't overcome who's the best coach to pick, right?
Yeah, but then
just think about it. If you were the owner and you had a successful dad that he's going to be speaking to all the time, I mean, you're kind of like, man, I kind of get two coaches in one, right? So I'm just playing devil's advocate on it.
Yeah, but then you got, you have the guy, I can't think of the guy's name right now that got fired with Houston Texans. I'll remember that guy was in the NFL for decades.
Yeah, but now they got, is it Lovie Smith? I was going to bring him up. Is it Lovie Smith there?
Yeah, but I'm talking about this one guy in particular. What happened though? Yeah. He's there 1 year. He's been a coach.
You called it though. You said what did you say? It was
like a bridge hire.
He was a lame duck coach. Yeah. You said he was gone. In one season, he was going to be gone.
Yeah, but how is that right? That's not right. This guy has been in the NFL for decades. So now you got Sean McVay, who's 30 years
34.
Old. Or whatever. I'm just saying when he first got hired. He's in his 20s, and then I get head coach job or whatever he got it. And then, he got a job before this guy that's been, he paid his dues for 40 years, 30, 40 years. So you're going to, just because my dad or my uncle or whatever, that's not right. It's really not right that, these guys, and they're all those guys that got jobs were younger than this guy.
Mm-hmm. Hey, but Mike Tomlin was young when he got hired.
Talk about Mike Tomlin. Huh? Mike Tomlin comes from one of the organizations that, look at
but he was young, though. I mean, he was a young coach.
Yeah, but look at their coaching tree. You had Chuck Noll was there 1,000 years.
Bill Cowher
was there 1,000 years.
And Mike Tomlin.
I tell you, he's going to be there 1,000 years. They just don't. That's just the way they do things.
And he's going to go to Flores, in my opinion. Now, why? Because of all the stuff he's stirring up.
Well, he's added more people to his lawsuit.
That's what we're going to go into now. Well, I just wanted to bring up, okay, while I mentioned it, I think Lovie Smith, by the way, I like Lovie Smith. I
played for Lovie.
Lovie Smith was in the Super Bowl, wasn't he? Wasn't it him and Dungy?
Yes.
Right? It was going to be the first time an African-American won Super Bowl.
It was either him or the other guy.
And it was guaranteed.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I would never say anything negative about him.
Nothing about Lovie Smith either. It concerns me that he took that position, right? Because I just think the Texans is a bad organization, and I'm just scared that he's how long they're going to keep him.
Maybe he just want to get back in the league. He was. Who knows? Yeah,
whatever. I mean, I get it. Again, but then if something, when he's released, everyone's going to go, oh, see, he was a lame coach. But you got to then find out if Lovie Smith, I just wanted to get back in the season, right? So, yeah, I wanted to get back in the league. All right, so look, Flores, speaking of Flores, let's hear, what do I got here? I got Steve Wilks, Ray Horton joined Flores. So Wilks and Flores and Ray Horton. What do you know about that?
Well, Wilks
was in Arizona.
He got fired after 1 year.
He was the head coach one season, 2008. And then Horton was an NFL assistant in 1994, interviewed for Tennessee Titans head coaching job in 2016, and was part of the lawsuit against the league, the Dolphins, the Broncos, and the Giants, and the Houston Texans. The Titans plus 26. Oh, my God. To allege that the amendment complaint that the Texans retaliated against Flores by removing him from consideration for a head coaching job vacancy due to his decision to file the action and speak publicly about systemic discrimination in the NFL.
Yep.
So what do you think, Carol? And it also talks about Carol calling out these people as well. So what do you think is going to come of this? I mean,
it's a train wreck. The whole thing is a train wreck because you got the same thing happened to Ray Horton. I'm sure if you read the whole thing, Ray Horton was interviewing for the Tennessee Titan job. And I think Mike Mularkey was his name or whatever the guy's name is. He told him that he already had a job 3 days before the interview. They just wanted to bring Ray Horton in to cover, cross the T's, dot the I's as far as the Rooney Rule. That's what they did to Ray Horton. And then the other guy, Steve Wilks, he was there 1 year, 3-13. bad. But then he feels like he was the bridge coach to Cliff Kingsbury, who became the coach after him. And he basically told them, and the thing you can read it, that not to pick Josh Rosen. That was a quarterback they picked that year. He wanted to trade up to get Josh Allen,
which was the right move.
But
the funny part is that the Titans, instead of Horton, they hired Mike Mularkey. Get it? You're full of malarkey.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That is terrible. Why ranging? Oh my God.
Yeah, but why are they doing it to these guys? Well, that whole
they're saying it's all a sham the way they're doing it. Just trying to
because the Rooney. But think about this whole thing. Okay, Roger Goodall, whatever his name is, he's the commissioner, right? Mm-hmm. Who hires him?
The owners.
The owners. So how can he enforce rules against people that hired him and pay his salary? How can you enforce anything? That's as far. Even the other thing is. But
isn't it the isn't it the NFL Players Union rep or the president? No.
What does that have to do with the owners? Nothing. They can't. Basically, the owners they can do whatever they want to do. There's no repercussion, as far as not following the rule as far as the Rooney Rule, because people keep doing it. What about there's probably times that the stuff that happened we don't even know about, and they just keep doing it, and they get smacked on the hand, or not even a smack on the hand. It's not right, that they keep bringing these African American coaches in. We're gonna bring them in. It's gonna be a fair interview, and come to find out, a couple of these guys, it happened to Flores, it happened to Ray Horton, that the other guy knew 2 or 3 days before that the other guy was getting a job. How would you feel? So that you go on the interview.
No, I don't think it's good for anybody, right?
I'm good, and the guy walks out the room. Oh yeah, you don't have to worry. I got the job. Don't worry. And then it's true when you go in there.
Oh well, I guess it's more about you walking out. You get in your car, you're all pumped up, and all of a sudden you're getting a call from someone. Hey, bro, I got this job, right? I'm like, what job? The one I just walked out of. They just finished interviewing. No, man, they offered it to me 2 days ago.
And guess what? That's happening. That's happening in the NFL like crazy. But how can you enforce the rules when the NFL owner, the NFL commissioner is being paid by pretty much his bosses? So they're not going to do anything. Well, he's not going to do anything to cross these guys because they're paying him $20 or $30 million a year.
Right, but don't you think though it's got to get to it also? Okay, so let's agree that there's a systemic issue there, right, with the minority coach, no doubt. Okay, with head coaching, but don't you think that another way to try to work the system would be the either general manager or the head coach who is building, the squad of coaches, like in Tampa, like in Kansas City, where they have the most minority coaches, period, and in high level positions, right? Because it all starts on grooming them up, right? I mean, defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, those are the 2 positions I believe in, right? Because we already saw what's his name, Judd from special teams, right? But I'm just saying to you that, that's why I think it's so important to how the Bucs in Kansas City is set up. Except for, according to reports, you're saying that Bieniemy's had issues, right? I mean, and then the fact that they feel that Reed calls the plays, but Tampa is in prime position, like I said. But don't you think, like, if Pete Carroll's saying that, how many minority coaches Pete Carroll have on his squad?
I think he had Ken Norton at one time, but I don't know. I got to look that one up.
Let's find that out. You understand what I'm saying? Pete Carroll, you can't. I commend him for saying what he's saying, right? Carroll's coaching staff. Go ahead. But the thing is, he's got to walk the walk also, don't you think?
Yeah, but not really. He's a 70-year-old coach. He's probably got one of the better owners, in all the NFL, since the passing, when he passed away a few years ago, Paul Allen. His sister is in charge, of the team now. And, he's probably got a lot of say-so and leeway, as far as the things that, he can do and say. But it's a lot different coming from their man because it's coming from a white guy. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's coming from a white guy is saying this, and they don't like it. That's the problem. And they did have issues with what he said.
Because it's the white guy saying it, no?
Yeah, it's the white guy saying.
All right, so look, his defensive coordinator is African-American. He's got assistant D-line and defensive end coach. That's 2. We got a guy there that I can't tell what he is. He looks like he's got a fro, but he looks white. Andy Dickerson. Look him up. Okay, so hold on. You got 1. You got 2. Look up Andy Dickerson. Hey, we got a Spanish guy, Thomas Garcia, baby, strength and conditioning coach. Okay, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's say I'll give him a 6, a 7. I would say Sanjay's 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Dude, 14. Yeah, here, look, I'm gonna send this to you here so you can pull it up. You know how to see the chat in Zoom, right?
Yeah, okay, picture that.
Can you handle that?
No, that's too much.
Look, it says chat. Everyone, let's see with a little bar. It says chat.
Yeah, I'll worry about that later.
Click on that.
No.
So you can see, dude, he's got it. Look at, so here's the positions he has.
But you want to know why?
He's got a defensive coordinator. He's got assistant. You got to tell me the importance of these positions first.
But no,
assistant D-line.
I'll tell you about Pete Carroll. Let me tell you about Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll is like that.
You liked him, right? Because
I do like him because he was in Minnesota when I was there. He's the defensive back coach when I was up there. The people,
defensive backs, guys, are cool.
He was a good guy. He played basketball. He's a basketball player. The reason why, where did he coach at before? USC. He coached right smack in the middle of the hood at USC. So what do you think? He has Snoop Dogg and all these guys coming to his practice. He's used to being around, a lot of African American. He's used to that.
He's used to. How can you be a coach and not be used to about African Americans? Because most of your team is made up of African Americans.
I'm just talking about the neighborhood that the school was in, and then him having to go recruit in the hood. The South Central, and probably all the other, all over the country. That's where he got his players from. He was used to being around African Americans, so that's why he probably has, a ton of African American coaches. But then
he's also got a Spanish coach, and he's got, I would assume, like an Indian coach. His name is Sanjay Lal.
And
he's a man of color. Offensive passing game, assistant QB coach, assistant offensive line, assistant D-line DT, run game coordinator, running backs. He's got assistant D-back, defensive passing coordinator, defensive backs, strength and conditioning. Oh, they got 2 strength and conditioning?
Usually, yeah. They're mad, like they said before. The owners are mad at him because there's one of their own calling them out for what he sees as wrong. That's the problem.
I just wanted to, but my goal there was to see what his staff was, the makeup of his staff, right?
And he called them out, and he was good to go. But then you got Byron Leftwich. Why didn't he get a job?
Why didn't he, or why?
Yes. Why did he not get a job in this cycle?
I thought he turned down. He didn't want to.
He turned out Jacksonville because Jacksonville's a bad. It's not a good place to be right now. I don't think he got like the.
I personally think that everything that happened in Tampa was in the making. They were waiting on one guy's decision. TB12. That's it. I think Leftwich, they wanted to give it. It's early. He only retired for 40 days. They wanted to wait. I think it was in the talks. I think that Leftwich also had a little. Was probably close with Brady. Probably close with Brady. I would love to know, their relationship, because you've never heard anything bad. Leftwich seems like a good guy. He was a good player. I mean, I like Leftwich, right?
There you go.
Leftwich, because he corrected me before. Leftwich. I just think that I'm just, in my opinion, I just think, something I smell cooking. And I'm just telling you, I had the same thing happen to me recently with a client. Like, all of a sudden, they're coming back and they're wanting some other more business and they had left, and you start seeing things that were taking place and you kind of can start calling it, but I think that, did he interview anywhere else though?
Not that I know of. Yeah, but okay. All right. We've been through this before. I'm going to just go ahead and throw it out there again. Bruce Arians left because he wanted his succession plan to go into effect. He wanted Todd Bowles, not Leftwich, to be the next head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
So he stepped down, talked to ownership, who's still, the owners of the team, to make sure it was okay with them for him to be the next head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Todd Bowles is one of his guys from the Temple days.
I got you all. Well, what's that got to do with the price of Leftwich?
Why did he get the job?
Why did who?
Leftwich. Why did he get the job?
As the head coach?
Yes.
My personal opinion is that they wanted, I think he, because of the relationship with Arians and so forth, number one. Number two, and if that's true too, then that means Leftwich didn't get a fair chance for the job either, though. So you got to give some credit. It can't only the decision of hiring a minority coach should be equal across the board. And in the Bucs case, it may not have been, even though the end result was a minority head coach. Right, but they already had someone in mind, and they didn't give Leftwich a chance. We don't know.
How do you know they didn't interview him?
We don't. But you just said all the makings and everything was already built in the plan of Arians. So there you go with a head coach and the owners already predetermining who they were going to hire. Isn't that part of the problem too?
Todd Bowles had prior head coaching experience. He was one up.
But I thought I guess because you hired a minority coach, you don't have to interview minority coaches? Is that what the deal is?
No, they follow the rule.
They did?
Yeah.
Who they interview?
They probably interview both of them. We don't know.
I didn't ask you for probably. This is a sports show. I need you to know that you have a source that says it doesn't have to be totally true, but it can't be probably.
I'm going to say probably.
All right, well, you cannot say probably. Let's see. Let's go here. Who was interviewed, right?
Nobody.
For the Tampa Bay Bucks head coach position. But that's, look, I'm still in favor of interviewing. Who was interviewed for Tampa Bay's head coach position? Todd Bowles is set to interview for the fourth head coach. Vegas Tampa Bay defensive coordinator Todd Bowles will interview Las Vegas regular vacant. Okay. Who is interviewing? Is getting a second look at Jacksonville per.
Oh shit!
What?
Ooh, sorry.
What?
Nothing. Something just went crazy. I'll fix it.
Okay, look, they didn't interview anybody, bro. It was already predetermined. How do you not look? I'm okay with the decision. I'm okay with everything. I'm not having an issue at all. But there's got to be the process of hiring a head coach has to have some equality or systematic approach to guarantee that people get a shot at that position.
Oh, like Brian Flores and the New York Giants, Ray Horton in the Tennessee Titans.
But I'm agreeing that they didn't. So
how do you know that they might have
all those other teams, we could find information on the coaches they interviewed, but on the Tampa Bay, None of them.
Yeah, but we don't know if Tampa Bay went to the league, Goodell, hey, this is who we want to hire. Does the Rooney Rule apply still? Because he's in our succession plan, and this is who we want as our head coach. Do we have to go out and interview anybody else? We don't know. We don't know if they did that.
So are you saying that if the Giants then in 2 years go to the ownership and Goodell and say our succession plan is to put this person as the head coach who is not a minority head coach, you're saying that applies, a rule applies differently?
Different rules. Not gonna fly.
Okay. All right. All I'm saying is you asked my question. The question was, why didn't Leftwich get the position? I think one, because of that was the comfort zone of Arians talking with the owners and so forth for Todd Bowles, who's also African-American. And then two, I think that also it's better for the team. You saw that little meme I sent you about Brady talking to Bowles.
Yeah.
Hey, remember what happened to the last guy? Stay out of my way. Okay. Him and Leftwich are gonna light it up. Leftwich.
Here, I'm gonna leave it with this.
And then Leftwich is gonna get a head coaching position after next year.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, I'm gonna leave it with this. All this mess, but as far as them hiring the right, coaches and this and that, the Rooney Rule, it's not just the NFL. The NCAA, FBS schools, look at them.
Yeah.
You got 120, FBS schools. You maybe have 5 or 6 minority coaches, and I guarantee you that.
It's bad. It's worse there.
It's worse. And I'm not going to guarantee it, or I don't know for a fact, but how many of those 120 schools that the president of the university or the chancellor, whatever you call them, are minority? How many are minority? And that's where the problem starts right there, and it just continues to the next level.
No. They were saying that though. It also extends to high school.
High school's not that bad because depending on what area you're in, you're going to have minority coaches.
I understand that, but just in general, they're just saying that to get more minority coaches, you got to keep developing coaches right throughout all the levels, right? But yeah, and I go back to it starts off with your tree, right? Your assistant coaches. So I was happy to see Pete Carroll has a good amount of he walks the walk, right?
Yeah, that's why, like I said before, that's why he said what he said, and they're gonna be mad at him because it's one of their own calling them out, and they don't like it at all. I guarantee they don't.
Well, we'll see. How do you think Pittsburgh feels? I mean, I guess Pittsburgh had to sign off on it when they knew what they were getting when they got Flores, right? So at the end of the day, and Flores is a good coach. And Tomlin is a great coach. So I think personally, by the way, I called it. You said he was going to get a head coaching position, and I told you he was not going to get a head coaching position, right? But if there was any place for him to land, Pittsburgh is, in my opinion, probably was the best team for Flores to be at.
Yeah, the Rooney Rule is named after the owner of the team, the dad.
Right, but the reason I say that is because I think that there's not going to be any animosity about what happened, nothing, because you got an African-American head coach who is respected and is awesome. And Flores is a great coach. So I don't think I think Flores is going to do his job. You know what I mean? He's not going to let that distraction, nothing. I like Flores. Again, I like Flores. I just was, I was concerned, like I said, about, is this going to be a no game, a zero-sum game here? Because, you ain't going to get a head coaching position for sure, at least last in the year. And I don't know, would you hire someone who sues you?
No.
Okay. So the only opportunity, I can't say the only, but right now it looks, I would think the only opportunity he would have as a head coaching position would be with Pittsburgh.
Maybe.
You just said you wouldn't hire someone that sued you.
No, I wouldn't.
So then how is it a maybe?
I'm saying as far as him being the head coach of Pittsburgh, yeah, you never know.
But I'm saying out of the 32 teams, the best shot as a head coaching position for him would be at Pittsburgh.
Or the Las Vegas Raiders.
He's suing the team.
The Raiders?
He's suing the NFL.
He's not. He's suing the NFL as
owners.
Yeah, he's not suing. He's suing particular, the New York Giants suing them.
But,
Tennessee.
But Gruden's suing Gruden's lawsuit is something no one's talked about. That's a scary one.
I wonder why. Because they got all them emails where
he's coming. Yeah, and Gruden's got money. Plus, his attorney's got money. He's not like, Flores may have some money. He ain't got Gruden money.
Well, this is the other thing that was brought up too. The other show, the Washington Redskins, Washington Commanders. What is that name of the show? The Tuesday night. Oh man, our other guy.
Oh, Football 101 or something. Yeah, Aaron. Yeah.
When he brought up all the crazy things, that the owners do, have done in the past, and then nothing really happened. So you had. You had Robert Kraft, the situation.
Oh, that went that totally went silent.
Yeah, I wonder why. You have back in the day, they brought this up the other day. Jerry Richardson, he had basically had to sell the team because of some stuff. Then you have the big one, the Whopper, that's going on right now with the Washington Commanders. As far as him skimming money, off the top of whatever he's doing, not giving their fair share, to the NFL revenue sharing thing. So
who's this? The Snyder?
Yes. Yeah, you have Snyder.
How could a billionaire skim? That's crazy. I guess that's how he became a billionaire.
Then what's going to happen to him? Or then I don't know how true this is. The Jerry Jones, baby mama thing down there, and
he's quiet, boy. He's real quiet. I don't think I've ever remember the Cowboys not being in the news for this long.
But think about this. All these crazy things that the owners have got done or got caught doing. What happens? Who disciplines them?
Well, Jeffrey Luria. Is it Luria? Who's the Dolphins corner?
Yeah, him. Stephen Ross.
Mr. Ross, right. Ross, that's got to come. But that, to me, has got to come to light, too, because that's a big issue. Paying guys to lose games?
If that's true that he offered him $100,000, that's a bribery. That's kind of throwing a game. That's kind of illegal. So
that's worse than Pete Rose.
Yeah, it's up there. But if
that ain't up there, Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame.
I know, but you have all these owners. So who's going to discipline these guys? Who?
It's the NFL, the owners union. The owners have to do it. The owners have to say you got to go. That's what they almost did to Jerry Jones. You know that, right? They almost booted Jerry Jones out of the league.
They only told.
You know that, right?
Nah. The only one that they told that they had to get the step in was Jerry Richardson, the guy that owned the Carolina Panthers. That's how Tepper, the guy from Jersey, got the team. But they basically told him, you got to go. But you have all these other guys that did all kind of crazy things. They still got their team. They still have their team. So Goodell works for the owners. There's nothing he can do to them. It has to be the owner, whatever little, groups or whatever you want to call them that they have, get together. Hey, you got to sell the team. Hey, you got to step down for 3 years. Hey, you got to do that. That's all they're going to do. They're going to make them, pay a big, $20 million fine. What kind of justice? But if you have a player, when a player does something crazy, what do? They suspend them for 6 games.
We got to start wrapping this show. All right, let's get into something a little bit more entertaining. What you think about that? We talked about the Will Smith slap, right? Didn't we talk about that last week?
I don't know what you're talking about. I didn't see that.
Will Smith slapping
Chris Rock.
Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did talk about it. We talked about Philly. Yeah, that's some crazy. And then he resigned from the Oscars.
Yeah, I wonder why.
And then it came out because I didn't know about her relationship with that young guy.
Yeah.
Right?
No, it's the entanglement.
And the guy's name is Entanglement.
No.
She had an entanglement,
no.
right?
No, his name is August Alsina.
Yeah. But they called it an entanglement. But now Will Smith's mad because he wrote a rap about it.
Yes, he did.
The guy wrote a rap about it. So,
Sure did.
Hey, look, man, I just think that I like Will Smith. I'm sad. I'm sad. I think just that was people make bad decisions. I know I made more than I should have, right? So people make bad decisions. I think he could have handled it differently. Maybe not as public. He could have put, while there was a break, stepped up and walked up to Chris Rock and make a comment to him. You know what I mean? But I don't know if he should have just done what he did on stage like that, right?
I don't care about none of them guys, man. The only people I worry about are the ones over Ukraine that are getting bombed.
Yeah, that's true. And then I got nothing but kudos for Chris Rock. He's always been a stand-up guy. They were like, he's not. I ain't pressing charges. I ain't pressing charge. And then the show continued. You know what I mean? He continued on the show, right?
Yep.
All righty, but we're gonna wrap this up. This went fast, Byron. And we didn't really get into it. And it was only us two. It just went really fast. But the topics were interesting. Oops, hold on a second. All righty. So we always want to wrap it up, but reminding everybody, we think repetition is leads to retention. I want to wrap it up with the Gary Sinise Foundation. That's Gary Sinise, SINSE Foundation.org. Freedom, security are precious gifts that we as Americans should never take for granted. We must do all we can to extend our hand in time of needs to those who willingly sacrifice each day to provide that freedom and security. While we can never do enough to show our gratitude to our nation's defenders, we can always do a little more. Gary Sinise, please give a little bit. It's for our first responders. It's for our military. And, Byron, I want to just shout out in prayers to the families and to the soldiers who have willingly volunteered that are not from the Ukraine to go and fight that war. And look, Russia ain't taking over easy.
No, they're fighting.
Huh?
They're fighting.
They're still fighting. And that Ukraine president is more popular than he's ever. I mean, I can't even believe it. I mean, he looks like a UFC fighter. He should call out Putin and say, look, why don't we just let's just settle this me and you in the ring.
Don't forget the one guy, the mayor is one of those boxing brothers, the heavyweight champion, Vladimir.
One of the heavyweight champions is from the Ukraine.
He's the mayor. He's the mayor
of one of those towns.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should look Putin. You want to have a war? Let's just get in the ring.
Let's go.
Let's go with it. Like Ice Cube said, let's go toe to toe in the middle of a cell.
I saw that plenty of times at work.
Toe to toe in the middle of a cell.
Plenty of times.
So blessings to all the soldiers, to the families, everything that's happening out there. But
Ukrainian people, everybody, and may God bless all of them. And I don't know what this intentions are. So, all right. Well, Mr. Jones, always a pleasure. Again, it was nice to see some video on our friend Glenn Richardson and his birthday and the family. God bless them all. Great time.
Again, another shout out to Pella McDaniels III, good friend of mine. And may God bless him and his family. And you have a good night and bless the Jones family. And hopefully you see me in Pennsylvania in the next maybe 6-7 weeks.
Yeah, I'll be around somewhere. I'll be hiding.
Yeah, you'll be in the Poconos. All right, brother. You have a good night. Peace.
All right.